Hello everybody, this is Lewis Lee, owner of Portland Fireplace and Chimney. And today I wanted to talk about chimney lining. And why is chimney lining important? There's a lot of frequently asked questions about chimney lining, and I've got a lot of it in our employee binder. So I've prepared some areas here just to give an education on chimney lining and what it's all about. So, what is a chimney liner? The chimney lining are the high heat components or the firewall portions of your system within the fireplace chimney structure. These are the structural walls. And the lining is the inside of the fireplace structure. Its purpose is to contain high amounts of heat, volatile gases, and corrosive products of combustion through the chimney structure to prevent the chimney structure from deterioration. The chimney liner goes all the way to the top of your chimney, and it protects your home, like the combustibles around the chimney, from getting too hot. If your house is built pre-1960, a lot of times you don't have what's called the flue liner or the chimney lining in the flue. So a lot of those houses are not to code anymore, and if you burn in an unlined chimney, the heat and corrosive gases thermally expand and crack and deteriorate the inside structural walls of the chimney, and they're the most hazardous. There's a lot of situations where I've seen fire losses where houses have extreme damage from combustion gases entering the home and lighting combustibles on fire. But also, if the house doesn't burn down, combustion gases can escape the system and cause carbon monoxide poisoning. So, what's the average cost of a chimney liner? The cost of a chimney liner varies quite a bit. It really depends on what type of chimney lining we're using, but also the access requirements to install the lining product. Many circumstances, we have to build scaffolding up on the roof and the house to safely access a chimney liner installation. Almost every time, there's a portion of masonry that has to be removed and replaced in order to gain access to install a proper chimney liner. But on average, the cost is probably $8,000 for like a one-story fireplace and chimney that's easy to access. Do you really need a chimney liner? Yes, you absolutely need a chimney liner, and this is a diagram that shows kind of what happens in a chimney if you don't have a chimney lining. This area is of an area called the smoke chamber, and right here these little arrows show you how you get a turbulence that's created if the inside surface of the smoke chamber is not coated or parged smooth. And a lot of times there's wood and combustible materials on the other side of a smoke chamber, and those areas are most likely to ignite. Heat can actually transfer through masonry and ignite combustibles on the other side of a row of brick without even actually touching it. There's a photo of a past job. And it is a code aspect. So the National Fire Protection Association says that the inner surfaces of a smoke chamber shall be parge coated smooth with an insulating refractory mortar. So, does a brick chimney have to be lined? Yes. The IRC, International Residential Code, and the NFPA 211 dictates that all chimneys shall be lined, not just wood-burning chimneys. It's a common misconception. So, there's many different types of chimney lining. People ask, can I install my own chimney lining? One could, but one shouldn't. It's an exact process. If your installation fails and there are any losses, the losses would not be covered by your insurance. Chimney liners are installed by the most experienced chimney professionals. You can see there's many different types. And the issue is that you don't want to have a failed installation. Over the 20 years experience, I've developed an exact operating procedure to make it as efficient as possible and least intrusive for the homeowners. Another question I get is, what is the cheapest type of chimney lining? You're going to build a fire or burn some type of fuel in your house. Trust me, the cheap way is not in your best interest. I always recommend the best way. Stainless steel is the industry standard, and here you can see insulation. So insulated stainless steel is the best. This insulation that you see here is a pour-in insulation called Thuramix, and it really produces the highest value for the installation, fully insulating the liner from top to bottom, and that also keeps your chimney warm and keeps it clean for longer. Stainless steel, or 24 gauge stainless steel, is what is used in the aerospace category. So SpaceX, for example, uses it to build their spaceships. And it's not really super expensive. What's expensive about chimney liner installation is the time. It's the labor expense. The material cost is really not that expensive, but I aim to provide my customers with the largest value. High quality, long lasting, and efficient to install are the most important things to think about when you're doing a chimney liner installation. Next question, how long does a chimney liner last? A chimney liner will last multiple generations as long as you don't intentionally have chimney fires through it. This is why we perform annual service to all of our customers to make sure that their chimney lining systems are performing optimally. A lot of the things that we see over the years is interior wall deterioration. The lining can go bad from corrosive gases, and then it starts to deteriorate and it can actually create blockages in the flue, which lead to the carbon monoxide problem and carbon monoxide poisoning getting inside the home. So the NFPA 211, let me see if I can find that. Oh yeah, I have it marked here. The NFPA 211 specifically dictates, here it is, annual inspections. Chimneys, fireplaces, and vents shall be inspected at least once a year in accordance with the requirements. So a lot of times people, will say, well, I didn't use my chimney very much. But that's really only one reason to have it inspected. There's so many external factors that can cause issues with a chimney not to work. For example, pest intrusion or system deterioration, or maybe a winter storm or some type of act of God that disrupts the components of the system, and then they don't ventilate and work properly. Multifamily properties, for example, apartments and condos, the property manager is actually required to provide proof of annual cleaning and inspection to maintain the property's insurance. A good property management company will hire certified chimney sweeps, because if one of the system has an issue or burns a part of the building, it can actually destroy other portions of the chimney or other portions of the building. The fire jumps from one chimney to another that it conjoins with in the attic space. A lot of times those attic spaces are shared. And so we do lots of service and repairs for apartments and condos every year. and we service every unit in every building. That way they have good documentation and every system is maintained properly for their records, for their insurance. Another question, what are the two main types of chimney liners? So there's more than two. There's many different kinds, but like I said before, 24 gauge stainless steel is the best type of chimney lining. But there's many different types. So a lot of times in the 60s, they started putting these terracotta tile systems in, which you can see here, but they're not very resistive to corrosive gases and heat. Thermal expansion will crack and shatter these, as well as corrosive gases, so they break and fall apart and don't last a long time. I recommend stainless steel insulated chimney liners as the #1 choice. But then the next thing is refractory. So refractory is the fire brick. You know, you've got, let's look at this one. You've got refractory fire brick, which line the firebox and holds the heat inside the firebox where combustion is taking place. And then you go into the smoke chamber. So here's the shelf, and here's the smoke chamber. And that is supposed to be parged smooth. This smoke chamber, I can see you can have a lot of corbels, and those corbels transfer heat. So refractory cement is used in the smoke chamber. And my favorite refractory cement is called Formula 51. It's sold by Saver Systems, and it's in their Heat Shield product line. They actually have many disruptive innovations in the chemistry sector of the fireplace and chimney business. They manufacture many fireplace and chimney products and distribute directly to all chimney sweeps. John Meredith, the founder, is an inspirational family man. I've worked with his son, Tom, for many years. John is one of the most influential mentors that I have, and they solve so many difficult problems for the chimney industry and educate their dealer chimney sweeps on how to use their products and provide homeowners with a high efficient fireplace. Tom, his son, has come out to our Oregon Chimney Sweeps Association conventions and trade shows to provide our membership with hands-on training and demonstrations. Okay, another question. Do gas systems need a chimney liner? Yes. Gas appliances of low temperature combustion like gas inserts and furnaces and hot water heaters, a lot of times I find the liners are aluminum. And aluminum doesn't last very long. It's the minimum code requirement for gas appliances, but I really don't see them lasting longer than 10 years because they oxidize and they become brittle, and then they start to fall down the chimney and create blockages and flow resistance. So I recommend stainless steel because it's corrosive gas resistant. Another thing is sulfuric acid. A lot of times you have an old oil furnace chimney that's been converted to gas, and that water mixed with the old oil deposit creates sulfuric acid and really just destroys and deteriorates the inside walls of a chimney, and that's when you get a lot of these blockage issues from the material falling apart. Same thing happens with these gas log sets. So a lot of older homes have been retrofitted with gas log sets that were previous wood burners, and the conversion wasn't fully done. And really that's because the gas company, Northwest Natural Gas, but other installers of log sets, they don't have certified chimney sweep education on chimney lining and the effects that happen when you convert from a wood burning or a dry fuel source to a gas burning system. The two emissions, the two emission deposits, kind of combined up inside the chimney, and you get heavy deterioration, and a lot of times you'll even see staining on a portion of the chimney, and that's what you call sulfuric acid. It literally rots out the masonry. So when that happens, you could have a big problem. When material falls down and creates blockages, it will back puff, kind of like how it shows right here. And that's what really leads to the carbon monoxide poisoning into the home, because the flow of gases coming out of the system gets compromised and no longer exits the top of the chimney as it should. Many customers call explaining that they just got home from the hospital from carbon monoxide poisoning. It also it always comes back to the gas system deteriorating, and because they were told by an uncertified person that their gas system didn't require annual maintenance, when in fact it absolutely needed annual inspection and maintenance. So, what happens if you don't have a chimney liner? Well, I basically just explained all that, but heat essentially escapes your chimney structure. Combustion gases enter the living space and contaminate the air quality inside the home. Wood and combustible building materials around your fireplace slowly dry, and eventually they can ignite. That process is known as pyrolysis. It's the thermal extraction of moisture in an organic material with the absence of oxygen. So that's what happens here. Basically, it dries out to a point of spontaneous combustion, and then one day you're just having a normal fire, and then poof, all of a sudden you start to smell these weird smoky smells inside the house while you're having a fire. Another question, which chimney liner is best? A properly sized and fitted chimney liner is best. Stainless steel insulated chimney liners last forever if they're properly maintained with annual inspection and cleaning. And getting on our forward scheduling annual inspection list is what you should do. I recommend that everybody have their system annually inspected to make sure that it's going to work optimally. We will do a great job. Keep your loved ones and everyone safe, and make any recommendations or improvements on repairs to maintain the longevity of your chimney liner. What grade of chimney liner do I need? Premium. Premium is the grade. I've been doing this for 20 years. In my experience, I've learned that the fire code is really just a prescriptive path. And there are so many external factors which can determine the failure of a system. The grade of chimney liner you should purchase is the highest quality material that is suitable for your installation. Chimney ventilation is not something anybody should cut corners on, and the material cost difference is nothing in comparison to the cost of labor to install it. So if you're going to pay to have the same labor done, just do the job right the first time so it lasts forever. Portland Fireplace and Chimney specializes in historic restoration as well. Here's a house called the Century House, which we had the pleasure of doing. You notice all copper gutters, flashings, and chimney cap. This house is historic registered, and we actually tore this chimney down brick by brick and saved every single brick and rebuilt it to look original. Here's another historic house in that same Irvington neighborhood. You can see you have to set up a big scaffolding for that. We always install full coverage chimney caps because a lot of the chimneys have water damage. And there's that same house right there after it was done. Proper chimney caps and water seal treatment are really important. We do all kinds of interior remodeling, hearth design and remodel, and fireplace changeouts. We do gas, wood, pellet, any type of fireplace system, even custom jobs. So there's a Rumford fireplace in that cabin there with a metal roof. And we finish every job up with a water seal treatment with siloxane. It puts a barrier on your masonry, kind of like Rain-X on your windshield. So that about wraps it up for today. You guys please comment, like, share, and hit that subscribe. And stay tuned for more chimney and fireplace information. Thanks very much. Again, this is Lewis Lee, owner of Portland Fireplace and Chimney. Have a safe and warm fire.